Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. We're going to talk about China and how they are falling into an economic collapse right now and why you should be concerned about it, okay? So here we go. First off, China is to say that their real estate market is collapsing is an understatement. This started this last year and it ended, their massive real estate run up, it ended with a bang. And that happened in 2021 where we started to see commercial mortgage-backed securities start to default, and we started with the Evergrande story. Now, we all know that the story didn't end there. The contagion from Evergrande started to spread all throughout other real estate development companies in China. We also then saw the contagion effect as we saw the overseas bonds start to default when it came to the real estate, all right, the companies like Evergrande. Now, why should you be concerned? Now, I want to make this very clear. When Lehman Brothers collapsed, and there was a lot more going on than just Lehman Brothers, okay? Bear Stearns and other institutions disappeared as well. But what that did is it caused a contagion effect that affected the entire world. And that's what happens whenever a superpower loses steam in its economy, right? Regardless of how tied it is to other economies, even if it's not tied to other economies, right? But what happens is their economy starts to break down and they have less money to go out into the world, the rest of the world, and purchase goods. Then it will affect the rest of the world. And I believe that you are seeing China's real estate market imploding and leading to a collapse in their total economy, right? And what I believe you're going to see is it's going to severely affect the United States. Now, let me give you one example. China is still a large purchaser of our bonds or our currency. Every month they have excess money and they go out and buy and they invest in other countries, the United States being one of them. Even though we know that they have really curtailed this activity in the last couple of years, the fact of the matter are they are still investing in this country. Their people individually also invest in this country. Even the low-hanging fruit would be the tourism trade of how many people travel here each year and spend their money on just coming to visit, all right? When they go through an economic collapse, just like what happened, and I call the Great Recession an economic collapse, right? I mean, we saw real estate in some locales across the country fall as much as 50%. We saw the purchasing power being affected. We saw people's lives severely having to, change the way they live because they no longer had the either available credit or the amount of work that they once had a couple years prior to be able to spend money into the economy, okay? So I do consider Lehman Brothers, that whole era, a collapse, a crash, okay? I mean, just whatever you want to put a name to it, okay? That's what I believe it was. When you see things fall by 50%, like the actual stock market indices, real estate fall 50% in some places, that's pretty darn bad, okay? Can it be worse? Yes, it is. But we got through that, right? Well, we really didn't because the problems were not fixed. More credit was made available. The banks got even larger, and so it just exacerbated, and it got worse. It's now, this is where we're at now. Well, with China collapsing right now, they're going to, as each month goes by, have less and less money to invest in the rest of the world. So that is one fewer buyer of our currency, our debt, and I believe it's going to spread even more contagion because, even though they buy, let's say, American debt, they're also buying other countries' debt. Well, as they start to slow that as well, all of these countries that are used to China coming to the purchasing table and purchasing X amount of debt, they are going, and if they have to slow down or stop, you're going to see these countries start to regress too, recess, come back in and go, ooh, now we've got to take care of ourselves. You're seeing that with China right now. China is taking care of themselves. They're going and trying to, patch wounds on this dam that's leaking right now, and they're putting Band-Aids everywhere, and there's still little holes popping up. And we're seeing that with new, every couple of weeks, we're seeing another real estate developer, it seems like, coming out and saying, hey, we're having some issues too. Ironically, I see throughout the world's press, it's almost like they want to make fun of China. Yet, I don't see anybody else that at one point built a ghost city, okay, honestly. Another thing, too, is it's so easy to be the one that just fell down and scraped your leg, but everybody seems to forget that one when the next person falls down, scrapes their leg, and everyone's laughing at that person. Well, let's call the 2008 Great Recession. The last time somebody scraped their leg, fell down, and tripped, that was America's turn. But ironically, now we're making fun of China. To see China explode in the last 20 years has been actually quite amazing. I always wondered what it would be like to live during the Industrial Revolution, America's Industrial Revolution. Well, I have, because I've seen it in China. But it blows me away how we like to mock other countries because, oh, look at their emission standards or look at their labor laws. I'm like, well, guess what? All you have to do is go back into history books, and we went through that exact same thing. It absolutely blows me away. Everybody wants to point their finger at other people, but they don't want to actually think about what's going on in their house. The facts of the matter are our house is sick too. And we need to prepare for these things. Even though it doesn't affect you that China is going to be buying less American dollar-denominated debt because you're not the one selling it, it will eventually affect you because it is going to hurt our economy. That is the truth. That is why you want to prepare for these things. This isn't fear. These are facts. As China has to take care of themselves and their own economy, they're going to have to dive their money into their own economy and try and heal it, which means they're going to have less money for other countries. A lot of people do not understand this. They cannot figure out because they're too busy like, oh, you're spreading fear, you're spreading fear. I'm like, well, you're an idiot. You're a moron. Because these are facts. And as it hits our economy, we're going to start to feel it. So how do you protect yourself? Well, first off, again, guys, I don't want to be a broken record. Get out of debt or stay out of debt, wherever you are at. Look at owning things of some real tangible assets, real things like real estate. And I'm talking about not going crazy with the debt servicing, right? Gold, silver, Bitcoin, some other cryptocurrencies, like figure out something. I'm not a financial advisor, but own something. You see, during the Great Depression, when everything collapsed, there were very few people that were not in debt and they had a savings account. And then they had their credit score. And I know one of these people because my great-great-grandfather became super wealthy. He was already very well off, but when the Great Depression happened, he just simply went around and bought everybody's farms because he was one of the only farmers in his region that didn't go get in debt and buy a bunch of heavy equipment because they were pushing debt on all the farmers through these, hey, you can mechanize, you can get big. And, during the Roaring 20s, all these farmers were going big and getting in debt. And then guess what? When the Great Depression hit, all those loans were called due and farmers lost their farms. And he went around and bought farms. That's what I want for you. I want to take his legacy and teach the world. I don't care if you're a man, woman, I don't care where you live. I don't care any of that crap. I want to teach you guys how to be meek, how to have, even if it's a little right now. Keep your credit score because you're going to need that. That's just the day and age we live in. And when this thing goes down, because you're living like nobody today, Jack Gamble, you're going to live like nobody else tomorrow. Because a little bit of preparedness and a calm, clear, concise mind and plan is going to blow up for you. And you're going to be blessed. And that's what I want to do. We're going to carry this legacy on of people that are meek, are kind, and are bigger thinkers. We think farther out, okay? That's what's important. So I don't care where you live and who you are. I want to see you guys crush it. With that being said, guys, thanks to all the new subscribers. Thanks to everybody that's sharing these videos. The Economic Ninja is out.